Welcome to the garage. I'm Robert, and this is Haslip Cycle Works. In episode 2 of the Weld table accessories series, we took care of our TIG filler wire storage issue. Today we're going to tackle another issue. I don't know about you guys, but I am an official member of the Tungsten Dippers Club. You've probably seen it in a couple of my videos where I'll be welding along, everything looks good, and dip. Okay, I'm no professional welder by any stretch of the means. No Jesse James, although I aspire to be one day as good as him or any of these other guys that are just amazing TIG welders. The only way I'm going to get there is with some practice and some time. So to make better use of my time, when I dip one of those tungstens, probably like most other guys that are doing fab work in their garage, stop what you're doing, you pull your tungsten out of your torch. You guys probably recognize this. Loosen up your back cap, pull your tungsten out. This one just so happens to be pretty short. Of course, they start out a lot longer than this, so you can tell, yeah, I've dipped and sharpened this one quite a few times. But say you're in the middle of a project and you dip one, do like we just did, pull your tungsten out, and you go over to your grinder or however you're sharpening your tungstens. You sharpen your tungsten back up, you clean it off, you reassemble the torch, and then you're back to work. Well, I have several tungstens in my toolbox, but they're on the other side of the garage. So what if we could keep sharpened, ready to go tungstens right here at the table, but not take up any of our not take up a whole lot of our work surface area? And what if we were able to attach something to the table so that we could sharpen our tungstens here at the table without taking up any of our surface space? Sound like a good idea to you guys? It does to me. So, first off, the first problem we need to tackle is how do we sharpen tungsten at the table? I, like most of you guys, have a little Dremel laying around. Let me grab it for you, I'll show you. All right, standard run-of-the-mill Dremel. Now what we're going to do today, you can do with a couple different models of the Dremel. And it could be a Harbor Freight version or another knockoff version of the Dremel, as long as the body is shaped like this and has the removable arbor cover with the threads. Okay. So no need to go out and buy a full price Dremel. You can get them used, Craigslist, eBay. Like I said, you could hit up Harbor Freight or wherever to buy a knockoff version. This one I've had for a while, and it's in pretty good shape. It probably needs to have the dust blown out of it and the brushes checked, but it's definitely going to work for our purpose. So for this project, you're going to need a Dremel or a rotary tool of other brand. And next, I found this product on eBay, just poking around one day and found this, and it's kind of what inspired this episode. It's a 3D printed part from eBay, and I know it's the wrong color, but don't you worry, we're going to take care of that. It's 3D printed. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but you can see the grain in it. You can definitely tell it's 3D printed. What this was originally intended for was to hold a Dremel and attach to your workbench. And then you can use one of the flex shaft kits, and this would remain stationary on your workbench, and you can use the flexible shaft to do whatever hobby work or grinding or whatever you're doing, and this would remain stationary. We're going to use this, but in a slightly different case. Okay, so this will grab this Dremel and hold it to whatever we we're going to build. Of course, we're going to adapt this to fit our weld table. This particular part is made by Mitchell.com, MS Burko on eBay and Amazon. And of course, I will put links to that in the description. Pretty cool stuff. Emailed the guy, and he seemed pretty cool. So definitely give him a shout out. And if you're going to do this, go to him. And I want to say this part plus shipping, and I went through eBay, was less than $10. I couldn't recreate this for $10 if I tried. And if I did try it, it would only be a try, because I would screw this up for sure. I don't have a 3D printer as of yet. Definitely something I'd be interested in. Leave me some comments down below. If you guys are using a 3D printer, what model are you using, and what suggestions would you have for someone that's never done it before? Leave me some comments down in the comment section and let me know. And definitely check this guy out, made by Mitchell.com and MS Burko on eBay and Amazon. Solid product. It's pretty sweet, pretty ingenious. But we'll be customizing that for our application. And of course, piece of flat stock, steel in this case, because we're actually going to be doing some welding to it. Nothing fancy. We're going to mount our Dremel holder to the plate, and then the plate will mount to the table. Pretty simple, right? All right. And then, of course, because we're mounting to the serve flat table with its 5/8 or 16 millimeter holes, I have two 5/8 bolts with two of the thin nylon lock nuts and two 5/8 spacers. And the reason I have these spacers is we want to space this guy off the table side just a little bit. And when I show you the next part, you'll see why. The next piece I also found on eBay after I found this guy. The whole purpose of using this Dremel is to sharpen our tungstens. You can do that manually. You can hold it, chuck it in a little drill, and put a wheel on Dremel or a grinder, but it's messy. The dust isn't really contained, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the red 2% thoriated tungstens that you use for TIG welding are not good for you to inhale. The dust created from those, and they are radioactive, believe it or not, very low levels, but still radioactive. So you don't want that in your lungs. You don't want that on your skin for very long, to be honest. So we kind of wanted a way to sharpen our tungstens consistently and to kind of keep the dust contained so that we're not inhaling this stuff. So the next part is another sweet part. It is from Scotsman Tools. If I can get it out of the bag here. ScotsmanTools.com. They are also on eBay. And what this does is gives us a housing that will screw on to our Dremel. It holds a collet, and they sell different size collets. This one here is 3/32 because that's the size of the tungsten that I normally run. It also comes with a 1/8, I believe. And once this is mounted to the Dremel, then in the collet for the Dremel, we're going to put this diamond sharpening wheel, and this will set down in here. And your tungsten fits through this collet and touches the top of the sharpening wheel. As it spins, you rotate your tungsten, and that will sharpen it for you. It also has, here's the other collet, the 1/8 collet that comes with it. The 3/32 is sold separately. So they give you this lid. It's a little clear plexiglass cover. So when we get this all assembled, you'll be able to see where we insert our tungsten into the collet, and as it sharpens it, you can make sure that it's as sharp as you want and that everything's being processed correctly. All that bad dust that you don't want to breathe is locked in here, until you're ready to dump it out and clean it. Ingenious. And it's going to be convenient. It's going to decrease the amount of time that we're away from the bench, away from our workpiece, sharpening tungstens. There are some fancy billet attachments for Dremels or standalone tungsten grinders or sharpeners, and it can get pretty pricey. So far, the Dremel, which was a hand-me-down, was free. Our mount, less than $10. Our hardware, $5. A piece of scrap, usually free. If you guys are doing any sort of fabrication, I'm sure you got this laying this around. And this guy, $30, just at $30. So what do we got in this? Less than $50. You cannot buy a dedicated tungsten sharpening device for anywhere near $50. You just can't. If you can, prove me wrong. Put a link down in the comments. I could not find one. You know, I'm a DIY kind of guy, so this is the solution we're going to go with. The second part of this episode, we're going to do something really cool. Going to do something for you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to build a tungsten holder that we can set on the table. It's not going to have a big footprint, but it'll hold a bunch of sharpened tungstens. It'll keep them from rolling off the table, and they'll be within arm's reach. So if we really botch one up and we don't want to stop what we're doing and sharpen one with the kit that we've put together over here, we can pull out a fresh tungsten, throw it in the torch, and away we go. And once we get done with our project, we can go through and sharpen them all. If we've dipped them, hopefully we're getting better and not dipping them as often. But, you know, everyone starts somewhere. You're going to dip your tungstens. It's just part of the learning curve. So, you know, don't feel bad if you do it. If you learn from it, it's not a mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a special tungsten holder. And what I'm going to do is once we hit 50 subscribers to this channel, I'm going to give this tungsten holder away. Completely random. Anyone that's subscribed, when we hit 50, leave a comment down in this video. I'll pick one of you guys at random. I'll use one of those online tools, and I will contact you, get your mailing information, and I will send this to you. I think you guys are going to like this. So to hold our tungstens, we're not just going to use a tube or anything like that. If I'm going to do something for you guys, I want to make it special. Buddy of mine, Jake, over at Vaughn Design Company, he actually lives next door to me. I'll put some links down to his stuff in the description. He builds some really cool steampunk parts, interior kind of things. He's got some fans that he converts to lamps that are pretty sweet. And he also does some amazing wood furniture. Kind of working on some stuff with him to speed up some of his processes and to add an industrial kind of heavy metal kind of look to some of his pieces. Yeah, check him out. Good guy, awesome products. He does it all himself. Link down in the description. He actually donated to the channel. Well, let me just show you. This is a 30 millimeter shell casing. For comparison's sake, this is a 45 ACP. Yeah, this sucker's huge. What we're going to do with this 30 millimeter casing is pop the primer out. Then we're going to take a 5/8 bolt, and I purchased a longer one because all we want is this shoulder. And we're going to cut the threaded section off. All right, we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to cut the head off of it. And what I have is a washer that fits pretty snug over this shoulder. So we'll cut this off here, set this in it, we'll weld it, and then I have a even larger washer. And we'll weld the smaller washer to the larger washer. And what's left of this bolt, which will be flush with that first washer, I'm going to drill and tap a hole that will put a bolt, a socket head bolt down in this thing, and we'll tighten it down on there. So that'll give you a nice steady platform, has plenty of weight in it, because as you know, those tungstens do carry a little bit of weight to them. So if this thing's full, you don't want to be knocking it over. We'll get that all tigged up. Fortunately, the powder coat oven is, well, I haven't found a replacement for it yet, so we are gathering parts to build the big powder coat oven, but we're not there yet. So painted, possibly. And I'll get it all done. I'll show you guys what it looks like. We'll throw some tungstens in it. And like I said, once we hit 50 subs, one of you guys are going to win this tungsten holder. So get the word out. We're at 45 at the time of filming for this. I want to get to 50. Of course, the ultimate goal is as many as we can get, of course. Leave a comment saying that you want this. And once we hit 50, pick one of you guys. Reach out to you and we'll send it to you. The only thing that I ask is once you receive it, send me a video or photos of it, and I'll feature that in a future episode. We need to cut our steel backing, and the cool thing is, even if we use 2 fasteners to hold the steel backing to the table, we're not going to have any issues with the bolts that are going to hold the 3D printed part to the steel backing. So what we're going to do is we'll just make it the same length as the 3D printed part, just to make things easier. And I think I showed you in a previous episode how if you don't have die chem, you can actually use a Sharpie to mark your steel if you're doing a small area. Die chem is definitely the way to go if you have a larger section that you're trying to mark off. There we have it. Our own, for right around $50 tungsten sharpener. Right, we've got it on our back plate. All I need to do is add a couple washers and some nylon lock nuts. The truth, we've got it bolted onto the side of our table. Cover on, wheel in. I have that short tungsten, and let's see if it works. That's perfect, and all the dust stayed in there. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That rocks. All right, well, next we'll start working on our giveaway tungsten holder. What I've done is opened up that hole that we drilled the pilot hole for. I tapped it for 1/4 20. As you can see, we've got our hex cap bolt in there. Everything's welded together, fits into our table nicely, and what we'll do is it will bolt through the hole in the shell casing down to the base plate that we just made. I'm going to get this painted. I'm going to get the correct bolt. I'm going to bolt it all together and then show you what the finished product looks like with some tungsten sitting in it. And to sweeten the pot for you guys, what I'm going to do is when I do the random drawing for the 1 subscriber, once we hit 50, to win this, I'll also throw in some Haslip CycleWorks stickers. I have a few of the red Haslip CycleWorks silicone bracelets. I'll throw those in there. And some Haslip CycleWorks spam cards so you can pass them out to your buddies, and it's got the website and the logo and everything on it. And if they come in on time, I'll also throw in a couple of the long sleeve red Haslip CycleWorks shirts that you may have seen me wear in some previous videos. So Get the word out there, guys. Let's get a few more people subscribed to the channel, get it up to 50, and then one of you guys is going to win all this tungsten holder plus all that swag for nothing, just for subscribing and helping support me, and I'm going to give back to you guys. So let's get up to 50, and just comment down in the comment section that you want this, and once we hit 50, one of you guys will win. Well, guys, here it is. It's firmly affixed to our mount. We have our little stubby rounded off end here that fits right into your table. And if you don't have a serve flat table, a 5/8 inch hole drilled into whatever work surface you're using will work. Drops in, and just to prove that it'll work, there you go. There is a full length tungsten. It's been sharpened, just hanging out in there, ready to go. Remember, guys, if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, like, comment, and for those of you that are subscribed, let your buddies know what we're doing over here at Haslip Cycle Works, and let them know that they could also win this. And again, once we hit 50 subs, I'll be giving this away, along with a shirt, some stickers, and a couple other little swag items. Keep on the lookout for updates, and until next time, guys, get up, get out there, and do it.